Que paso, amigos, and welcome to the horror show. I am Jaime Fuego.
I'm Susie von Slaughter.
And I'm Cecil Laird.
And today we're doing our spoiler review of Trick or Treat.
Spoilerific.
So we'll start with my story, the one that was about the school principal and the overweight kid that was eating too much candy. He ended up feeding him a chocolate bar that had razor blades in it, caused the kid to start vomiting blood, takes the kid out back and starts to try and bury him. And the interesting thing is it's sort of a little bit of a funny moment where...
Dark humor for sure.
Brian Cox, the surly neighbor that I mentioned in the regular review that I'll bring up again later on, he sort of is trying to figure out what's going on in the principal's backyard as the principal's trying to bury the body. And another body that he's buried from earlier in the night starts to wiggle and make noise and wake up, and he's like kicking it to keep it quiet and stuff. So it's kind of funny.
Yeah, because his son comes to the window.
His son comes to the window and is like, "Dad, are you gonna help me carve the jack-o'-lantern?" He's like, "Yeah, I'll get up there." He's trying to sort of act like he's not doing anything. And the cool thing is when he finally goes back inside, he's like, "Okay, son, let's go. We'll do it now." And so they go down to the basement, and the kid's like, "Are you gonna help me with the eyes?
But don't forget to help me with the eyes."
And then you see that it's actually the fat kid's head that they're about to carve together.
That totally actually took me by surprise.
Yeah.
I was like, that's pretty awesome.
A family that slays together stays together.
True story.
What about your story? What happened in that one?
Well, the second one is probably the most grisly out of all of them, just for the sheer fact that it involves mass death of children. Basically, these children go down to investigate the bus that went off the ravine, and there are still creatures dwelling down there, so to speak.
Yeah. Well, the bus that you're talking about, we said it in the regular review. If you haven't seen it yet, check it out, and you'll get a little more of the story. But basically, there's a flashback scene about a bus driver with a group of special needs kids on a short bus, and apparently their parents had just gotten tired of taking care of them. So they paid the bus driver to get rid of the kids. And unfortunately, the bus driver does what he's supposed to do and sends the bus over the side.
He escapes,
swims away.
He chains all the children down, which is just, they're all wearing Halloween masks. It's
all costumes and stuff.
He slowly gives them candy.
Yeah, he gives them candy as they're about to go over the edge and stuff like that. So, and nowadays, what happens? The kids go down.
Yeah, what makes it even crazier is the fact that, what they discover is all of those children still down there. And essentially the kids that were picking on this kind of nerdy witch-dressed girl, they basically brought her down there to scare her. But lo and behold, the scares ended up being real for them because she essentially locks them down there, takes the little elevator back up. You hear the bones crunching. You hear the screams. Those children were toast, man.
All of the kids that had died years before come back and take out the kids that played the practical joke. Yeah. So that was pretty awesome.
Justice served, albeit very cruelly and harshly, but it's a Halloween movie, man.
And Susie, what happened with the girls?
Okay, so you think you got a bunch of horny bitches going on, but because that's what it looks like. You think, Halloween sluts going down. Yeah, they're trying to get a date because they're trying to get it, and so you think that the young shy timid girl, they're trying to get her. You think that she's like still a virgin.
She's dressed like Little Red
Riding
Hood.
And so you're under the impression, the Halloween losing virginity thing, and that's actually
wait, someone catches her attention. Someone that was wreaking havoc at the party, dressed as a vampire.
That's right.
Which just so happens to be drumroll.
It happens to be the principal. Yes, he's wreaking havoc all around town. He catches her attention.
He goes after her, and he is gonna try and bite her.
In the woods, in the party, because it's out in the middle of the woods,
exactly.
Away from everything.
The girls are together in their spot in the woods, and they think, "What happened to the new girl? What happened to the new girl? Where is she?"
She out getting hers.
Yeah, exactly. And suddenly, the red hood that she was dressed in drops out of the trees, and it's actually that principal in his vampire getup, and he's like asking them to help him. He's like, "Help me," and he's all bloody and gory. So obviously there was something more to Anna Paquin's character than we thought. And what happened, Susie?
Now it comes to realization that they're all turning. All the girls are turning.
Transformation.
And they're transforming into werewolves.
They're actually ripping their skin.
Yeah, they're ripping their skin off, like everything off, and you see each of the dates that they have brought. Each one of them are viciously
being devoured. So they
exactly.
weren't horny; they were hungry.
Hungry.
Yes,
I get that
H
confused
word.
all the time.
Yeah.
I know. So
they go hand in hand at times.
Yeah, it's true.
Absolutely.
So the young girl, it was her first time
having an attack. It was cool.
And that's one of the few times they use CGI within the film for the transformation.
Yeah, a little bit. Actually, it was mostly practical because it was just a lot of the ripping off of the arm skin and the back and stuff like that. And you'd see the practical effects skin fall to the ground, and then you'd see like furry limbs walking around and stuff like that.
It's I'm a huge I hate
Yeah, CG werewolves are done okay sometimes, but for the most part,
that was done really well.
It was done really well. And that brings us up to the fourth story, which is the one pertaining to Brian Cox's sort of hermit neighbor character. I mentioned in the regular review that he's got an unwanted visitor in his house. It turns out the visitor is the new icon for the movie, and basically anytime anyone has died in the movie, there's always someone watching. And it's a little kid-sized person, I guess you could say, that is in an all-orange getup with like a burlap bag over his head. He's walking around with a trick-or-treat bag that is like just gory and heavy and just drags on the ground like there's body parts inside. And he's always watching. Whenever anything bad happens in the movie, it's always this guy who they name Sam Hain. Yeah. And he's just sort of watching. And then in the last story, Brian Cox's character is actually being stalked by Sam Hain because he hates Halloween and he's always poo-pooing it and yelling at everyone.
There's a reason why, right?
There is. Yeah. You don't find out until the end, right? You think it's just because he's a crotchety old man. But he has this whole showdown with Sam. Sam tries to attack him. He gets a shotgun. He gets a shot in on him, but Sam keeps coming. And eventually he rips off Sam's burlap bag. And you see that his face is actually, or his whole head really, is a practical effects pumpkin, like a jack-o'-lantern that moves and articulates. And
one of my favorite parts.
Looks really good.
It was
absolutely.
Awesome.
He actually gets shot one or two more times, but to no avail. And corners Brian Cox's character, and he pulls out a little candy lollipop, a Halloween lollipop that he has, and he's about to stab Brian Cox with it, but instead he just grabs a piece of candy and just takes a bite and leaves. And you're like, what the hell? And Brian Cox goes to the front door and he sees Sam walking away. And then, you're like, what happened? Why is that? And then
he's got some
looks
trick-or-treaters coming.
He's got some new trick-or-treaters. And it's actually all the kids from the pit in Jaime's story. And then they swarm him and attack him, and you go inside his house and you see a picture that reveals that he was actually the bus driver that took the kids to their deaths all those years ago. So the whole movie was cyclical. It was good writing, a cool new character in Sam Hain, some good scares, good effects. I mean, what more can you ask for?
Produced by Bryan Singer,
Absolutely.
Big names behind it. There's a reason it was so good.
So Trick or Treat is definitely a great Halloween movie.
Thanks for watching. Remember to like, share, and subscribe.
Head over to our Twitter @HorrorShow666.
And then also email us and check out our podcast at the links below.
Thanks again, you guys. And remember, stay scared.